When there's a war, we have various weapons and tools that can help us fight the enemies. We don't have those with cyclones. All we have is saving ourselves by hiding away. And I just don't think that's enough because it's just not working anymore.
Watching cyclones is what Dr. Rosalind Prinsley does for a living.
We're expecting them to get more intense and much more dangerous. And we really need to work out how to fight them.
Dr. Prinsley is a disaster and climate expert specialising in cyclone research at the Australian National University. She's leading an international project investigating ways to weaken a cyclone before it reaches coastal communities through a process that involves disrupting them before they get too big.
We would put these aerosols, we'd get a few planes loaded up with these aerosols, and they'd fly around the circumference of the cyclone for maybe a few hours, dispersing the aerosols. So instead of having all that energy going into spinning up the cyclone, it'll go into producing rain around the cyclone.
One man who has flown into the eye of a storm is Dr. Danny Rosenfeld, who is also part of the ANU project. He was on a research flight chartered by the US Weather Prediction Agency that flew into a Category 5 cyclone over the Caribbean.
The whole idea of a tropical cyclone is a very highly organized circular flow of the airstream. So it was not rougher than any normal passenger air flight while it's flying through some rough weather, not too rough.
The darkness lifted once the plane reached the quietest and calmest part of the cyclone, the so-called eye.
Oh, it's just glorious. You see the circular shape of the clouds around you. You are like in a well with walls that go all the way from the surface to a height of about 15 kilometers. And it is all around you, and you are under the bright sun. It is like in a theater of clouds that are around you, and you are the focus.
Excitingly, Danny Rosenfeld, who we're partnering with, is joined up with a startup in the US, and they want to be like the international cyclone busters of the world. They want to go around using the technology that we're working on to actually put cyclones out or intervene in cyclones, reduce their intensity. They reckon that if everything goes right, we should be able to start piloting that ideally in Australia, because in Australia we can do it away from the land, we can do it out at sea.
As the beginning of the hurricane season approaches, Project Storm Fury assembles a team of highly trained scientists and technicians to fly into mature hurricanes.
It sounds like science fiction, but cyclone manipulation has been around since the 1960s, beginning with an ambitious American project.
Through these experiments, Project Storm Fury hopes to improve our understanding of the structure and the driving forces of hurricanes and tropical storms.
They flew into the cyclone and they dispersed these silver nitrate aerosols. It wasn't very successful because they didn't quite have their understanding of the cyclone correct, and so they didn't use the right sort of aerosols in the right sorts of places. What we're trying to do is work out what aerosols would actually have an impact on reducing the intensity of the cyclone.
Ex-tropical cyclone Alfred has caused chaos across Queensland and New South Wales, but Dr. Prinsley says cyclones can also bring benefits.
They bring rain to places that don't often get rain. So, for instance, if you're a farmer in inland Western Queensland, sometimes the only rain you might get is the rain that comes after a cyclone. And we need to really understand when we want to intervene in a cyclone so that we don't have too many ecological impacts that we don't want.
The science isn't ready yet, but these researchers hope it will be the key to stopping future cyclones from wreaking havoc.
And what we're trying to do here, in a very targeted way, is intervene with a weather system that's likely to cause huge amounts of damage to people and infrastructure.